To finish off this technology assignment, we need to fill out this form and save it. The first thing I'm going to do is realize that when I click on the link to PDF file, it's going to go ahead and open up this form. At the bottom of the form is a place for you to put your name and the name of the plan you're working with. So I'll put my name under your name, and then the name of the plan is the Basic Plus plan. So I'm going to scroll up to the top, and what you need to realize is that we're going to enter in a bunch of different medical charges here, and then we're going to go ahead and correspond the total medical costs, that's what you'll actually pay, some prescription charges, that's what's charged to you, but remember the cost for those prescription is what you actually pay. Then we'll figure out what the total out-of-pocket is, what the annual premium is, and the sum, which will be my total annual cost. Now you need to remember there are a couple assumptions we were making about these medical charges. First of all, under medical charges, the least amount that we're going to spend is for the 2 doctor's visits and the 1 specialist visit. Now I'm going to assume those 2 doctor's visits are going to cost $100 and that the specialist visit is going to be $150. Now you're going to have different numbers there. So my 2 $100 visits plus $150 for the specialist means I need to click in here and put in $350. So that's the very least that I'm going to spend because I know that I'm automatically going to have to pay that no matter what. I'm going to assume I always have those 3 visits. Now, I'm going to increase the medical charges until I get up to the point where the deductible is met. The deductible for this plan is $1,200. So I'm going to put $1,200 into here. You need to be very careful here. For some of you, you're going to be paying $20 or $30 or $40, some set amount for all doctor's visits. Those monies do not count towards your deductible. Here, I'm paying a set percent. So everything that I'm spending here is coming towards my deductible. So for instance, I could go up to $500 or I could go up to $1,000 before I eventually reach this $1,200 deductible. Now, because I'm working up to my deductible here, I have to cover all of those costs. So if I do this $350 in charges, I haven't met my deductible, so it's going to cost me $350. Same thing here. If I have the $350 here plus another $150 to get up to $500, I'm going to have to pay all of that. And the same thing for the next line. This is going to be true all the way up until I've met that deductible. After the deductible has been met is when I'm going to start to split the charges. Now remember, I'm assuming a single generic prescription that the charge for that is going to be $30 per month. If I do that for 12 months, that means $360 charge. And that's going to be the same in every single one of these lines. I'm just going to fill it out here for the first few that I've done. Of those charges, I'm going to actually be paying only $10 for this prescription for 12 months, so that's $120 it's going to cost me. So I'm going to go ahead and fill that in all the way down here. So now I need to figure out my out-of-pocket for each one of these different levels. Now the out-of-pocket here is going to be the sum of my costs, so the total medical cost and the total prescription cost. So when I add 350 to 120, that's going to be 470. Down here, when I add 500 to 120, that's going to be 620. Here we're going to get 1120, and then when I finally get down to here where I've met my deductible, 1,320. Now, in order for me to be on this plan, I have to pay a premium. And remember that premium was $46 per month, and I'm going to pay that for 12 months, and that amounts to $552. And every single one of these rows is going to have this in it. I'm going to fill it out up to where my deductible has been met this time. So my total annual cost is going to be the total out-of-pocket plus the annual premium. So 470 plus 552 is 1,022. So if I just made those 2 doctor's visits and the 1 specialist visit, what I would pay in this plan for the total year would be $1,022. Down here, when I add my out-of-pocket to my annual premium, that gives me 1,172. In the next line, I'm going to get 1,672. And in the line after that, I'm going to get 1,872. I haven't started splitting anything with the plan. That occurs once I've met that deductible. So let's look at some charges after the deductible has been met. And this is going to be a little bit of a sticky part here. I'm going to increase my charges by $10,000. You may have to do it by less or by more. You're just going to have to play with it a little bit. So an extra $10,000 of charges would take me up to $11,200. And then another $10,000 will put me up to $21,200. I'm not sure when I'm going to reach that out-of-pocket max, but I'm just going to keep increasing this. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and fill in what's right here. So how do I figure out what I'm actually going to pay here? That's always a tough one, and probably the toughest part of this entire assignment. First of all, at this point, I have to pay the deductible of $1,200. Anything beyond that, I have to pay 40% of. So remember, I went $10,000 beyond $1,200, and I have to pay 40% of that. So 40% of that $10,000 is $4,000. Add in my deductible, that's $5,200. When I do that on this next level, remember now I'm $20,000 beyond this. 40% of that is going to give me $10,000. Then I go ahead and add that in. So another $10,000. I'm paying 40% of that. That's going to take me up to $9,200. My prescriptions haven't changed, so I can fill those in. And now I can work out my total out-of-pocket, which is going to be the sum of my costs. So here we have $5,200 plus 120. That's going to give me $5,320. In the next line, we have 9,200 plus 120. That's going to give me 9,320. And again, my premiums stay the same for the entire year. So now I add my out-of-pocket plus my premiums. I end up getting 5,872. And down here, 9,872. Notice that when I do my out-of-pocket here, I haven't reached the out-of-pocket max yet. The out-of-pocket max for this plan is $12,000, and here I'm only up to $9,320. But I get an idea. Every time I go up by $10,000 here, it adds another $4,000 in costs. So if I were to go another $10,000 here, up to $31,200, that's going to add another $4,000 in cost here, so that's going to get me up to $13,200. Prescriptions stay the same. And now what you notice when you add the costs together, it exceeds $12,000. So at that point, I know I'm only going to pay $12,000. Add the 552. And so at that level of charges, the $31,200, I would only pay $12,552. Because once you reach the out-of-pocket max, this number can't get any bigger. So for instance, if I were to go up to $41,200, certainly I'd have another $4,000 in cost here, which in theory would be $17,200. Prescriptions stay the same. But even though these two numbers add up to 17,320, my out-of-pocket max is 12,000. So I'm going to have a total annual cost of 12,552. One of the things that's going to be interesting when you actually put this into Excel, you're going to figure out exactly what level of charges here will make this number just turn to 12,000. So now that I have this all filled out, I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click on the Save. And I'm going to go ahead and save this, maybe with something like my name after it. And that's going to be the form that you're going to turn in. That'll be a PDF file. Make sure you save it in a place that you can find, and you'll turn that in for this technology assignment along with your Excel file.